Hi everybody. I want to go through an example from your textbook of a cabbage coding. Case 6.1, Case 6.2 says coronary artery bypass. Look at the procedure performed. I want you to have your textbooks open to this, and I also want you to have your CPT code books open to page 208 and 209. So stop me there and make sure you get in the right places before you let me go forward. Looking at case 6.2, it said it was a coronary artery bypass. The procedure performed is where I hone in right away. Coronary artery bypass grafts times 4. With left internal mammary artery to left anterior descending bypass, sequential saphenous vein bypass from the aorta to the first and second obtuse marginal branch of the left circumflex, with an ongoing graft then to the posterior descending coronary artery. I read that today in class to my coding students, and we just looked at each other and we said, that is a bunch, isn't it? Did you get anything out of that? And they said, no, we're totally cross-eyed and confused. Where do we start? How do we do this? And I encourage them to write down. I wrote on the whiteboard, and I'll start a Microsoft Word document here to what kind of notes that you should make. On the board, I said, okay, we know right away from the first line that it said we had a cabbage times 4. Okay, so we know that we have that. Breaking down, and I'm looking at the procedure performed paragraph, breaking this down, it said the left internal mammary artery to the left anterior descending bypass. Stop there. That's something. The internal mammary artery, okay, we know we used arteries. And as you keep looking and reading, the very next statement says the saphenous vein. We know we have arteries and veins. So we know we're going to have a combination code, right? We're going to have 2 codes. So we know we have arteries and veins both. The left internal mammary, it says, went to the left anterior descending. The LAD, we call that. Okay? And really, that is number 1. The mammary went to the LAD. And that is the artery. Okay? Next, it says we had sequential saphenous vein bypass. And they really could say bypasses, because sequential means there's more than one and they're kind of in order. It said from the aorta to the first and second obtuse marginal branch. Now, this could have been worded better, but I'm going to say that this is the vein from the aorta to the first obtuse marginal, okay? That's a vein. The next thing they said was, they didn't say this very well, vein from the aorta to the second obtuse marginal. Okay, again, that's a vein. They said vein bypass, sequential vein bypass from the aorta to the first and second. So number 1 is from the aorta to the first. Number 2 is from the aorta to the second obtuse marginal branch of that left circumflex. And then an ongoing graft down to the posterior descending coronary artery. So from the aorta to the, posterior descending artery, or PDCA. The posterior descending coronary artery. And again, that was vein. So looking at this, I have 1 artery and 3 vein. Correct? Going back and looking through that paragraph and making sure I didn't miss anything is super important. Coronary artery bypass grafts times 4. Yep, got it. And I have 1 artery plus 3 vein. Yep, that's 4. The left internal mammary, remember, it's native. It's already there. It's connected. They just swing the bottom around to different places. So they took it and put it to the left anterior descending. Okay, that was 1 with the artery. Then they brought saphenous veins from the leg. Okay, they brought one big one and they did 3 different things with it. They said one from the aorta to the first, one from the aorta to the second, and then another one ongoing down to the posterior descending. So from the aorta down to the posterior descending. This helps us, okay? Writing it out, saying it out loud, however you need to have to, make notes with it. This is how I kind of noted it, kind of in the margins, really small, because there's not a lot of room here, of case 2. So looking at what we have, 1 artery and 3 vein, we said we're going to use code 33533, which says on page 210 in your CPT, coronary artery bypass using arteriograft single artery. Okay, so that is 33533. Okay, and then for the 3 veins, we use a combo code, and the combo code would be 33519, which states 3 venous grafts. So coronary artery bypass using venous grafts and arterial grafts. So that combination, and then 33519. Those would be your 2 codes here to code case 62 for coronary artery bypass. I hope that this description helps you. You have to really pay close attention, marking up your document, writing things out on notes or in a margin to make sure that you have each substance and place where there was stitching, right? Note it. Every anastomosis, every time the anastomosis is where 2 come together and they stitch, every place, okay, counts as 1. What are we using? Is it veins, arteries, or both? And then where did everything go to? That's how you would talk through case 62.